Hello friends. So when we bought our home, there was a very large tree stump that was here. The tree was already cut and the stump was pretty much dead and it was completely rotting out. And so we recently removed that, actually on our own, because it was so completely dried up inside that it was almost like spongy and dry. And so it was really, really easy to remove. And so now we have this large patch of empty ground. And so we've been trying to think about what to do with it, whether to cover it up, to build a patio or something, but I really, really enjoy the local nature. And in fact, what I've decided is to build a pond, but not a koi pond, actually a frog pond. And so what happens around here is if I ever leave a bucket or any kind of deep dish or a pot and there's standing water because of the rains or because I overwater or something, then what we find is that in the night, we can hear this kind of like chirping and singing. And it turns out that it's frogs that come and find the water. But what happens is usually in the morning, we find them swimming around in that bucket because they can't find a safe way to get out. So since we already have the frogs, since I already love to listen to them and watch them, what better idea for this space is than to build a frog pond. And so what I understand, I've done a little bit of research, and they don't have to be too deep. The good thing is we don't really aerate them because it would hurt the tadpoles once they hopefully will lay their eggs in it. And so it can be anywhere from 18 inches to about 3 feet. But it has to have kind of a slope so that they can get in and out safely, because we've already learned that with the buckets that they'll jump in, but they just can't get out. So this is my plan. This is my project right now. And so this hopefully will become a lovely, lovely pond for our local frogs. I don't know. I'm going to give it a shot. You can see something red in there. You see that? That's because the dog we used to have would bury his toys, and that is a little Angry Bird toy that he had. And so I'm going to actually take that out and put it somewhere safe and keep it so that we can remember him, because we don't have Booker anymore, but we keep finding his treasures all around our yard. So anyway, we're going to get started and see. I think a lot of this is just digging. I have a pond liner that I'm going to put in, and then we'll keep going from there. Okie dokie. Here we go. Wish me luck. Okay, so I've been forced to take a break. I was taking breaks in between because, you know, it's tough work digging out this dirt that after you get past the topsoil turns to clay pretty much. But we started with some rain, and no, rain doesn't scare me, but we also have a lot of lightning. And so I'm gonna take a little break, watch the rain, maybe have some lunch, and hopefully this will clear up so I can keep working again. You can see, I guess my hole out there is getting a little damp. Hopefully that'll help. Okay, look, guys. This is fun. Here we go. You hear that? Thunder. Lightning. So as you can see, the rains did quite a number on the work I had done. But some good came of this, because now I've decided that I think I'm going to have this section right in the center be a little deeper, and then over here be a little more shallow. And then I'm going to have some flat parts here where I can actually do like a little frog house, where I understand they need some branches and things that they can actually go into from time to time to take other types of shelter. And so I think it's going to work out for the best. I'm obviously flooded. A lot of the backyard was flooded because we had some really, really heavy rains, just very unexpectedly, very quickly. But I think it's going to work out for the best. I'm just going to now have to wait until all of this recedes so that we can really see what we ended up with here and then do the rest of the work. But I'm a little bit excited about this, guys. Okie dokie. We'll see what comes next. Bye. So the rain, I guess, helped and hindered my work here, because now I'm full of water. And in fact, I measured the center and it's probably about 16 inches right in the center of that. But now I have kind of this other section around the side. So I'm thinking of having two different levels, where this one will be more shallow, and then on the center, what we'll do is have like a much deeper section right there. But then I'm gonna have some flatter areas here where maybe some of our wildlife can come out. I'm thinking of building, I saw where you can build a little house kind of thing, a structure with some branches and leaves so that they will have a safe place to kind of go and nest. And so I think it's gonna work out for the best. I'm just gonna have to wait for all of this water to recede. Like I said, in the center, it's probably about 16, 18 inches deep. And then probably around the other side, it's probably about 8 inches or so. So I guess we just gotta wait now. Time to get cleaned up and dried off. So I guess this is step one for today, and then we'll keep going. Wish me luck. All right. Good morning, we're back at it. I gave the space a day to drain a little, dry up a little. We still have a little bit of wetness right in the middle, but I think that might work to my advantage because now the softer part of the clayish mud that's under here actually is sitting on the top, so that gives me a little cushion. So my big old frog pond hole is probably about 12 feet across, a little bit longer on this side, so it ended up a little more oval shaped. But I've got a pond liner that is 13 by 20 feet, so I'm gonna lay that out. So usually if you have a lot of root system or rock in here, then you'd want to put down some sand first and then put that liner on top so that the stuff won't pop through there. But I've got a really thick liner and I've got some really clayish mud here, so I'm not too worried about any of that happening. And so I'm gonna lay that out, see how that fits, and then we'll go from there. From what I understand, you're supposed to lay that out and then kind of walk in there and flatten it down, and then we'll see. Okay, let's give it a shot, see what happens. Here we go. Yay, my pond is under there, and so I'm really excited about that. Now, I'm gonna jump in there, take my shoes off, walk around, and make sure that that is all patted all down so that I can get the shape. I think I'm gonna have some extra left over. I certainly want extra on the lip sides because we're gonna put some rock around there. But if I have a bunch of extra, then I can cut some and then put on the two ends that are kind of ended up a little short so that I have a little extra protection from rain. So anyway, here comes the fun part, I think. I already fell once. I'm not promising it won't happen again. Let's see. Alrighty. Okay, I got my steps in, my exercise for the day, but we're still not done. So I have this shape more or less, but what happened was clearly it wasn't wide enough for the hole I dug. But I do have all this extra, so I'm probably gonna cut off some of that and then cover that area, see if that works, tuck it under this other one and see if that'll help me out. Here we go, guys. So from what I understand, after this step, we put in water and then we put in the rocks. So right now I'm gonna try to cover up those two sides. I'm gonna end up putting rocks in there, but I really wanna make sure that no mud is sliding into my pond, or at least the least amount. So I'm gonna try to cover those up. Okay guys, see you in a bit. Okie dokie, so I decided not to cut the one that I have. This one is actually 17 feet by 20 feet. It's quite large. This one cost me about $100. Then I decided to just go back and buy another piece so that we make sure that we have this one intact and then just a couple other pieces. So I cut one in half. I got a smaller one that was 10 by 7 feet. That one's only $35. And so if you were going to do a smaller pond, it's really not that expensive, but I just decided I've had a giant hole that I wanted to kind of build in. So that's why I've got that extra. So I've got the two different levels, got it all lined. Debating whether to tape those. I might take some duct tape and just tape the two, the pieces that so I cut one in half and I put one piece on one side and one on the other. And I might tape those just to make them a little more secure. And then the next step is putting water in there. Super excited. So yeah, here we go. Okie dokie. So I've got most of the water in. I've got quite a bit of, it doesn't look like it, but I do have quite a bit of some pebble in there. And there's two different sizes of pond pebble. No. Pond pebbles. I think I need to go in, guys. Get out of the sun. Pond pebbles in my pond puddle. So this, I've just got a little bit. Now, when I bought the pebble, I know that it has kind of this clayish, muddy silt kind of coated all over it. And so I rinsed them and I still got this cloudy kind of pebble dust, if not for lack of a better term, in there. But I know that it's going to settle, so I'm going to leave that for a little bit and then see what we got. I have a bunch of pebble. Obviously I need a heck of a lot more. I was able to find a flat paver, so I put that right there, and then I put a plant there. So this still is quite deep right in the center. Believe me, I was standing in it, and so I got quite wet. But I'm going to leave this, let this settle, take a break for today, and then we're going to need to get a lot more rock to fill this in. But I mean, the structure's there. It just isn't as pretty as it needs to be, but we'll get there. Okay, guys, I'll keep you updated. Well, there's been a little update to our frog pond, and now it's actually working. What happened was our hole that we had was so big that I ended up adding pieces of a second liner onto both ends. There's one that's still here, and there was one over on the other side that was actually in the part that was holding water, but it actually wasn't holding water. So the duct tape that I was using wasn't actually strong enough. That water was still getting through, and it was seeping out and seeping out and seeping out. And so I thought it was just the pond liner that was settling, but it was actually letting the water through. So what I did was I adjusted the size and pulled that in, and then removed that piece. It's all there. Use it for something else. I'm not sure what, but we'll figure that one out. And so then we just have that one big piece holding all our water in. We have that other little piece, but that one is outside of our water, and so now it's starting to hold it, and so it looks actually pretty good. I've tucked in the extra pieces, and I'm gonna have those matted down a little bit more so that it's easier for animals to get in and out. And in fact, what we found was over here in the little bit more of the shallow area, right about there, we had quite a lot of birds come and visit yesterday and come and drink water from us. So we're really excited about this. It's working. I've got some slate here, some flagstone that we're going to use to mat these down, and some rocks. And so I'm just going to keep decorating and adding to it. I'm really happy that the water is holding, and we're just going to keep working and hopefully getting some frogs soon. We'll see. Thanks. Well, luckily the weather was agreeable today, and I was able to get quite a bit done today. I was able to tuck in the liner and put a bunch of mud and rocks around there. I was able to find a pot that was already had a fern growing, so I'm leaving that in there. And I've got let's see, a stump in there. I even have a little friend in there. I've got a turtle that we had, a little sculpture I bought years ago. He fits right in there. I planted some butterfly plants. Hopefully that will attract butterflies once they get growing, those flowers, and then some tall grasses to kind of give it, those should come in, give them a little height back there. But I'm pleased. It's holding the water. It's a good size. I was filling it up with some more water, so it's still settling a little bit, and I'll take some pictures once the dust and the dirt settle, and maybe we can see a little more clearly. But I'm kind of pleased. I'm just gotta wait for some friends to come along and partake in our lovely frog pond. Okie doke. So there you have it. What do you think, guys? I'm happy. Well, after a little trial and error, I think we got it all set up. Actually, I was able to add a small little fountain. It's a solar powered little water fountain to keep it aerated, because apparently if the water keeps moving, then that aids with the mosquitoes and keeping them away, and it's a safer way than putting chemical in there. So I'm really pleased. Just waiting for some frogs to move in, but I'm kind of happy with our little frog pond. That was fun. Thanks.